next time, Gadget, next time. You never saw him. You just saw his hand and his cat. Like it would always just be like this angle of like the back of a chair and like his arm over it. And like it was like a claw, like a crazy metal thing.
Do you wear a hat?
Who? Claw? Or Inspector Gadget?
The bad guy.
No, you never saw him.
Oh, I thought it was more like he's sitting in a chair and you just saw his backside. And
it was the back of the chair and like his armrest. And all you saw was like the armrest and like his claw. And like every time Inspector Gadget like foiled him, he'd be like, next time, Gadget, next time. And then like the cat would be like, meow. And on that note, the champagne's been popped. The Einstock is flowing. So you know where we're going. We're going on a backlot tour, and I'm your tour guide, Captain Zach, because with me always is Beans.
Or Jana. Okay, we are talking about
Inspector Gadget. Wait, no.
On-screen deaths in Disney animated movies. Animated including like Pixar.
Not off-screen.
Yes, so that is something I wanted to clarify.
We can discuss anything. It doesn't matter.
No.
There's no rules.
No, well, I do want to set up parameters. I do.
This isn't Vietnam. There are rules. I'm already not liking these rules.
Okay, no. I just want to. Are we saying when we say on screen? Are you saying you see them die? It's implied, or both?
Anything goes.
Okay.
Because I like Clockwork Orange myself earlier and forced myself to watch 30 minutes of on-screen deaths between Disney animation and Pixar.
Okay, one more question.
And some of them were very upsetting.
Are we going by like the most brutal, horrific, or is it emotional?
I'm saying both. Because I'm going to mention a bunch. Because what I've noticed about like what I saw when I watched all these back to back to back to back to back was a lot of them were involved just falling or being eaten alive. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of the theme was like eaten alive or falling.
Yeah.
And like that's a lot, I'm saying. Or being like dragged down to hell.
Yeah.
There's a few of those.
I only know of one.
I know 3 now that I've seen. The eaten alive ones were, I think, more disturbing. Because there's a few of those that I was like, these are rough. So let's start with your list. Give me some of the ones that really stand out to you.
Well, I mean, I've got a list of...
Because there's a lot of basic ones.
About like 15.
Okay.
And...
Go on.
And so I have a list of probably about like 15 or so. I don't necessarily think that they're like the most upsetting, but I don't know what my number one is. So it's more like points of discussion. And I kind of went in order of when the films came out.
Okay.
So starting with like The Evil Queen.
I'm going to give you a heads
and
up.
Snow White.
It's like there's that one. And then there's like none for a long time.
Yeah. There wasn't.
Like that was it. Like, and she falls. And then a rock falls on her. It's implied, but that giant boulder falls on her.
And I remember like when I watched that as a kid, like it terrified me, especially since she was like as the hag, which was already like pretty scary. And then on top of that, the Snow White Scary Adventure ride at Disney, like I would always just be like clinging to whatever parent was next to me, you know, and not watching. All in all, like I don't think necessarily that's like a horrific. I mean,
no, I there's a lot that are the same.
I think the trauma there from childhood.
Like going from that one, there's a lot of like Gaston falls.
Well, the crazy thing about Gaston is the animators put like skulls in his pupils.
Okay.
So like when he's falling, if like you zoom in on his eyes and everything.
As we always do when we're zooming in the middle of a movie.
Yeah, you can see it. It's like skulls or something like, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, that one's kind of more like, the Gaston one is kind of like upsetting and scary because it's more, he loses his balance.
Yeah, it's all
and
him
he
who
falls.
does that. He also just stabbed Beast and he's just like, oh, and then they're like, peace out.
You know what I think is kind of like scary too, is that some of these Disney movies make you celebrate the death of people. You know, it's kind of messed up. Like you're happy when Gaston falls and dies. You're happy when the hag dies. You're happy when Eric stabs Ursula in the stomach with his ship.
Well, if you think about it, was Gaston really the bad guy? If you actually wrote out what was happening, Beast was keeping a girl hostage in his like castle,
Hotel.
his hotel, and where he's the head of the hotel in hell. And he makes $80,000 a year.
I mean,
Gaston,
she
like,
really does just get
Maurice is
Stockholm
like-
syndrome.
Maurice is just like, they stole my daughter, and he's a giant beast, and like Gaston's like, well, let's get the town together and get her back. Is he the villain? Kind of, but if you wrote it on paper, he's not. He's kind of like, it's not. It's for selfish interest that he's doing it, but
he was kind of rapey.
I mean,
He was definitely very like, I'm gonna force you to marry
Belle
me and
has
have my
issues.
children.
Bella's all like, when he's a beast, she's all like, I like this.
She's
When he
a furry.
changes to Adam, she's like,
I think we were all like, go back to the beast.
I mean, I think we've digressed.
That
We've
was
gone off track.
nobody's favorite prince.
That was no one's favorite prince unless he was the beast.
Yeah.
If we're going by falling deaths, the craziest one I think you'll agree is Mother Gothel's.
I wouldn't call
It's
she
a double
wasn't.
death.
I wouldn't necessarily say hers is a falling death because whether or not she
She turns
fell.
to dust before she even gets to the
Well,
bottom.
yes, but whether or not she had fallen, she still would have completely turned into dust.
She's aging rapidly.
And you're making me go out of my list order.
But I'm saying, like, she pulls a Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade of like
Yeah.
that dude drinking from the wrong goblet.
Well, I think it's not just so much to that like she turned to dust. It's that you see her like age rapidly and get like very scary looking before she actually.
Well, she's probably hundreds of years old at this point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, go back to your list if
Okay.
you want.
All right. So, I mean, you can argue on this one.
I will.
Shere Khan.
Shere Khan the tiger.
I mean,
doesn't he burn?
I would assume he burns because they tie the burning
That didn't show on the
tree
list.
limbs to his tail, and he's like running away scared and can't get away from him because it's on his tail, and then sometimes it would like flip in front of him and he'd feel trapped and he just runs off. So I think it's implied that he probably burns to death unless he can find like a body of water to get into quickly.
I don't know.
But you know, I love tigers. I always liked Shere Khan too. They're endangered.
So you're saying that Baloo and Mowgli are the villains?
No, I'm just saying.
He's an endangered species. Don't do that. I'm going by categories of like falling and eating and all these other weird ones first to just like,
Clear them out.
yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to talk about the eating ones or you want to go like falling still?
Well, hang on. Let me look at my list. Let me mark off stuff we've done.
You've got, hold on. Because I'm nowhere near my traumatic ones. Because I've got some traumatic ones. And then I've got the saddest ones. My sad ones are like, I think if we watch them, I'd tear up still.
Okay, well, let's not bring everyone down just yet.
I'll get there. I'm going to go by like eating ones. Because those ones are nutso.
Okay, well, hang on. Before we move on from the falling ones,
There's a bunch.
there are a bunch, but I'm
Because
talking about
Brother
like,
Bear was another one where there's a falling one.
do not even talk to me about Brother Bear.
It was nuts. I had to watch that one. I was like, this is rough.
Brother Bear is, I've never seen it, and I refuse to just because when I nannied and the girls were staying over at our house one night, I asked them what story they wanted me to read, and they pulled out like our Walt Disney collection big book of stuff, and they're like, Brother Bear. It's like, okay. Reading them Brother Bear and putting him to bed, and we're all three of us just in the room just like crying. Just like, this is awful.
Well, I watched the scene where like one of the brothers sacrifices himself to save the other two. And
It's terrible.
it's not the best.
Try reading about it.
That's a falling one that was kind of crazy. There was some really weird ones like that happened a lot in Atlantis. The guy gets like turned in, like I've never seen it. So like the scene where, like something turns the guy blue and you think he's frozen. And then he goes after him still and then he falls. The same thing happens in Treasure Planet, like more falling. It's just basic falling. And then, I mean, I'm trying to think of the other ones that were falling. I'm sure there's a bunch more. The most other traumatic one that's falling because of what happens afterwards, I'd say is Mufasa. Just because it made me watch the whole thing where like he falls obviously and gets trampled. But the scene where Simba's going up to him and being like, Papa, and then he puts his arm over him. I was like, oh my God, this is like the saddest thing ever. That one's traumatic.
We saw it in theaters, and I remember I mentally prepared for Sarabi to die because, like at that time, that's what Disney did is they killed off the mom. And then when they killed off Mufasa, like me and my oldest sister just like lost it sobbing. It's one that still gets me.
Well, going to the segue of the eating one, it goes to Scars, which is one of the more horrific ones of like, he falls down. You think he's like, oh, I'm in the fire, but he's not. Then all the hyenas come and you see in shadow him getting devoured alive. I mean, I think that one's pretty horrific. The other eating ones that are kind of crazy would be Hopper in Bug's Life.
He doesn't get...
No, he gets eaten by the birds.
Oh, yeah. I thought he got stepped on for
He gets
some
eaten
reason.
alive by the birds, which is another kind of crazy one. And then there's another eating scene in Great Mouse Detective.
Yeah, I had Ratigan on there when
The Ratigan ones are rough.
Yeah.
Well, like when that first the rat gets it, like the one that's like drunk and singing.
Yeah.
And then just like all the guys are watching it happen. That one's kind of rough.
That one was rough. And then, but Ratigan gets his dessert.
He's the dessert.
Yes, for
what else you got?
kitty.
Those are the main eating ones. There's probably more, but those are the ones that like kind of stood out.
Okay. Oh, you never let me talk about the last falling one. You interrupted me or something.
Okay, go.
McLeach in The Rescuers Down Under.
Oh, he falls.
So, well, first he ends up like in the river with the gators and he finally escapes, and while he's laughing about it and stuff, he forgets about the waterfall and falls down the waterfall.
That one, I thought he was going to get devoured by the thing because I had to watch that one again. I was like, oh, I completely forgot. And then he just falls a long way down.
Yeah.
It was like the highest in the world. I don't know.
Do you think like he dies when he hits the water at the bottom, or do you think he has a heart attack and dies before he even gets down there?
Or he could be hitting rocks on the way down. On this, if he's under the fall, like in the inside, you never know. But at that point, you either smack the water and that's basically ground, or you just get drowned. Mm-hmm. So, another falling would be the bad guy from Up. The bad guy from Up falls really far.
Yeah, I mean,
that was fine.
I don't think of that as brutal.
No,
or
it's
horrific.
Not. Most of the falling ones are not brutal or horrific. That's why I think Mother Gothel takes the cake because it's injury and
I don't
insult.
count her as falling.
All right.
You cannot count her as falling. She is going to turn into dust and disintegrate whether or not she falls. She is not a falling death.
All right, keep going.
I think for falling, like the Evil Queen and
Classic
McLeach are kind of the worst ones. And Mufasa, but that's more traumatic than...
I think his is traumatic
scary.
just because of what happens afterwards. It's just so sad.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Frollo.
Frollo falls into like lava, it looks like.
And he gets crushed by a gargoyle.
Yeah, the gargoyle's like laughing at him all the whole way down probably.
It wasn't one of the...
No, it makes a face at him. That's why he like, gets freaked out. And then it just breaks off. Trust me, I just watched it. It like looks at him.
But I mean, it wasn't one of the three.
No. It wasn't one of the three, but it looks at him and like kind of like goes, ah, and then like it breaks and he falls with it on top of him into lava. It looks like, and then I mean, Maleficent getting stabbed. That wasn't really horrific.
That one wasn't upsetting. Ursula scared me a lot when I was a kid, like her death, because it was just an intense scene, and she's like massive. And Eric gets her, just like right in the gut. And then she's like getting electrocuted at the same time by lightning. You can see her skeleton, which talk about being big boned. Like her freaking double chin was a bone.
Yeah, her chin was a bone, wasn't it?
Yeah, and her belly.
Didn't we see like well, this is what her bones look like? It was like really weird looking.
I'll say she's an octopus.
Yeah. She doesn't
Those are cephalopods.
Yeah. well, she's a hybrid.
So does that mean just like her torso up would have bones?
Yeah, and the rest of it's just like moosh. What else you got on your list? Your categories? You're just marking shit off.
I don't have categories. I told you I went in order.
Okay.
Of the movies coming out.
I like the categories though.
Yeah, well,
And then the rest of the ones I have are like either crazy off-screen ones that are sad,
Okay, I've got one for you.
Okay, hit me with it.
Oogie Boogie.
Oogie Boogie's is crazy.
Oogie Boogie's is insane.
Because it's like, wait,
And
are
it
they
makes
sentient?
you wonder, it's just like...
Is he a bunch of sentient bugs together?
He was just a bunch of bugs
Like,
to
is he a
create
Borg?
one. Is it Muppet Man? Like,
Is he Muppet Man? Are they? And who's talking? Is it all of them talking?
or do they all come together? I don't know. Or,
It's actually the bugs falling is one of the 2 scenes in that are not stop motion. Actually,
oh, that would have been hard to do.
no shit. The whole movie looks hard to do. I didn't even think about that one.
Okay, now
Hit me with it.
before we get into emotional, even though we've already talked about Mufasa.
I was going to talk about some off-screen emotional ones that like are way more impactful.
Wait, Facilier.
Facilier is insane. Okay, that's the other category I was going to go with. People being dragged down to hell. And it happens several times, and his is nuts.
How many times?
Okay, so the Horn King, it happens in the Black Cauldron, kind of the same thing. The cauldron starts pulling him in, and he's just like clawing and like yelling, just trying not to get like sucked into it. And he gets sucked into like, and it's crazy animation, obviously.
Oh, he's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy. It also happens in, what else did they get dragged in? I just saw this. Maybe I don't know if I wrote it down. Huh. But those 2 in general, like there's one more. I know there's one more, but I'll probably think of it at the very end and just yell it at you.
Oh, thank you. So now I have like 4 very emotional deaths.
Yeah, they're probably the same ones I have on mine.
Probably. Marlon's wife and kids.
Yeah,
in
that's
Finding
rough.
Nemo.
That was one of them.
That one is hard. That one's so hard.
Yeah,
Like,
it just starts that way, like
It's like
infanticide and
Pixar does
matricide.
not care about ripping your heart out.
That brings me to the next one. Ellie in the
Yes.
first 5 minutes of Up.
I mean,
One of the saddest
I
things
remember
ever.
when that movie came out, it was like around the same time that the Twilight movies were coming out too. And like all this stuff just going around the air, and just like Up has more emotion in the first 5 minutes than Twilight does in the entire series, you know,
Well,
or
it
something
sets
like
up
that. And
it sets up his character with so much backstory in 5 minutes, and you care instantly, and
Yeah.
you're like, I get it why he's a curmudgeon,
yeah.
because he had everything. He had like
Well-
this life that he loved
first-
and a woman that he
well-
loved,
well,
and then it's instantly.
you see him go through the struggle of trying to get pregnant, and they
Yeah.
can't. And then she obviously gets like cancer
Yeah,
or something and dies. And it's just like, and that was
it's
the
a
person
rough 5 minutes.
who always made him better and took him out of his shell, you know?
Yeah. And what else you got for emotion? Bambi.
No, because you don't see that happen.
Yeah, you see shadows a lot. Is the main thing that
Yeah.
Disney likes to do, is that you see shadows, you hear the gunshot, and Bambi's running away, and then
Yeah.
you hear the bang, and like you see a. I think
I mean,
just watched it.
that is one that I will not let Olivia watch. She's been asking to watch Bambi, and I'm just like, I can't let you do it. You're not ready to be traumatized. You're not emotionally ready.
Let her watch Old Yeller first, and
Oh God, why? I think I saw Bambi before I saw Old Yeller. I remember my dad and stepmom's first Christmas together, like, is right before they got engaged. We went to her parents' house on Christmas Eve, and they got us Old Yeller on VHS as like our Christmas gift. And we had
good.
we had like one of the vans where you can watch it. You know, it had a little TV screen in the
yeah.
back in the VCR. And we put that in and watch it like on the, hour plus drive home. We were just like sobbing by the time we got home, like Christmas Eve and everything. And my dad was just like, what the heck,
Did you guys do like Where the Red Fern Grows right after? Just really
that
make
one was
yourself feel really good about
terrible.
yourself?
I feel like we saw Where the Red Fern Grows before we ever saw Old Yeller.
I remember reading that, and my mom was reading it to us when we were young, and we were all crying when
I
the
remember
dog started dying.
we had seen the movies, and then I think like in the 6th grade or something, they tried to make us read Where the Red Fern Grows, or maybe 5th grade. And I was just like, I'm not going to do it.
I know it's coming. I don't want to live that
I
again.
know enough about the movie.
It was rough. Anyways, what else you got?
So we hate this movie.
Good.
And I
Dinosaur?
don't even know that we finished watching it, but The Good Dinosaur, Arlo's dad,
Arlo's dad getting swept away by the water and him watching it was pretty rough.
and it being Arlo's fault.
Yeah, it was. It's just like, oh shit.
That was terrible.
Yeah, that one popped up on there, and I was like, ugh, God, I
mean,
hate this movie.
I feel like as soon as we saw that part in the movie, we were both just like, nope.
What else you got? I want to see if you have ones that I have.
I only have one more, and I can't remember his name, but it's Hero's brother
Oh, Hero's brother
in
on.
Big Hero 6.
Okay. Yeah, that one was rough. That I had that one in the back of my head. I was like, yes.
That one is just,
Is that all you have on your whole list?
yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit you
I
with.
was trying not to get carried away.
Okay, I'm gonna hit you with a couple. First off, there's two I think that happen in the end of Oliver and Company in a car chase that are bananas. Like horrific car accident kind of stuff.
It has been a while since I've seen Oliver and Company.
Going back to Princess and the Frog, Ray just getting stepped on.
Oh my, yeah, I can't believe I forgot about Ray.
That one
I was so
was-
focused on Facilier.
It was so, like, just, like, he just does it. And it's just, like, nothing. And you're like,
But then at the same time, he gets to go up and be with
yeah,
Evangeline.
but at the time, you don't know that. It's just like, you
No,
should
you don't.
stomp. But yeah, he just gets stepped on. It's like crunch, and that's it. And you're just like, oh my God.
And yeah,
Makes you really not feel bad for what's about to happen to Cecilia after that.
I never feel.
I'm going to hit you with another one that's very rough. Bing Bong.
Oh, but I don't know if I'd call that dying.
It's worse.
He's forgotten.
He's forgotten.
That is worse.
That part was rough in that movie, I think.
You know, it's funny you saying Bing Bong and bring it up. I've had the Inside Out music playing in my head on loop for like the past hour.
Okay. All right. Another one that really hit me when we watched it, and it still does every time, Coco. In the end of Coco, when he's talking to his grandma, and she's just remembering, and then
She dies.
she dies. But it's just like it's nice because she's with her parents again.
Yeah.
But like, it is such a sad moment in the end of that when you're like, is Chorizo gonna make it in the afterlife, basically, and not be forgotten?
Chorizo.
They call him Chorizo. Hector.
Yeah.
I forgot one of the more horrific ones was Syndrome from Incredibles getting sucked into the plane engine.
Yeah, I didn't put that on here because I knew you would. And I just don't get bothered by that one.
No, it's just a bad way to go. And also, the kids are straight up killing people in that movie.
Yeah.
It was going through it, and I was like, that one scene when they're on the island, they're just like mowing them down.
I liked Incredibles 2 better than Incredibles.
I liked them both a lot. Okay, I'm gonna tell you my most traumatic one, and you're gonna go, oh my God, I forgot about that. For good reason. It comes with the starter trauma pack, like Atreyu with Artex in the swamp. The shoe in Roger Rabbit.
I wouldn't call that Disney animation.
It is Disney animation, though. The shoe being put into dip is one of the more traumatic things, I think.
It's very upsetting.
Because it's like, you shouldn't care. It's a shoe. Voiced by Nancy Cartwright, I believe.
Who's that?
Bart Simpson.
Oh.
Which is weird that that's Bart Simpson. But he just grabs a shoe and just puts it in dip slowly, and you have to watch it die.
Watch me tortured.
Yeah. That's one of the ones that, like, I think is one of the worst.
Man, 80s did not care.
No, 80s don't care. It was the, it was the
It was the
80s.
80s.
And then the rest of them, it was the 90s.
Yeah.
It was the leftovers from the 80s that were like, we just don't care.
We'll start caring just a teeny bit, but not much.
No, I don't know. With some of the deaths on here,
Mufasa,
I think they got more traumatic. I don't know. But yeah, that one was really always upsetting to me. It's still upsetting to me. It's one of my favorite movies, but that part's so upsetting. It's so unnecessary, but character development. You know exactly who Judge Doom is.
He don't mess around.
Yeah, your final thoughts. Oh no, I forgot one. One that was kind of crazy was in Pocahontas when dude just gets shot when he's fighting with.
Thomas?
Yeah.
He doesn't die.
No.
Oh, Coco.
Yeah, when he just gets shot by like his dude, like his
Thomas shoots him.
Yeah, he just shoots him, and like the guy just dies. And I was
Voiced
like,
by Christian Bale.
voiced by Christian Bale. But yeah, that part was kind of rough, and you're just like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like honorable
Starts,
mentions that I forgot about
war.
because I had to watch a lot of these.
The Genghis Khan or whoever in Mulan.
He went
gets
out
shot.
he went out with a bang, literally.
Literal bang.
There's a scene from Fantasia when the T-Rex just destroys that Stegosaurus, and you have to watch it die.
Oh, I hated that so much.
That's a rough one. In the movie Dinosaur, there's some rough ones of just like.
I kind of assume that in Pinocchio, Pleasure Island, like those little boys never go home and they just live out their days as donkeys.
I guess, probably. That's a horrible way of thinking about it, but
I think that's probably what happened.
okay. I don't remember any others that I saw that were just over the top crazy. But yeah, that was the majority. Like, I've said my piece. There's some rough ones out there, though.
So what do you think is the most brutal, horrific?
Most brutal? I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I think like the evil queen scared me the most as a kid, but as an adult, I kind of think it's Mother Gothel.
She's coming to terms with her youth.
Her lack thereof.
Lack thereof. Her age.
I don't think she actually comes to terms with it.
She has to pretty quickly.
She doesn't have to.
I mean, I think the eating alive ones are usually kind of terrible.
Yeah.
But in terms of horrific, I don't know. The Lion King one is pretty traumatic, both of them.
But that's not horrific. I'm just saying, like...
I mean, Scar getting killed, I think that was kind of horrific.
Yeah, I mean, because he's
getting mauled by a pack of wild hyenas.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think falling is horrific, you know.
He gets trampled after. If the fall didn't kill him, the trampling did. And then his son has to like go and like...
But no, see, that's the thing. It's traumatic. It's not horrific.
You're talking about horrific. Okay. I think Faciliers and Ray's.
Ray's is not horrific. It's dramatic.
Okay, so Faciliers then. Getting dragged down to hell.
Yeah.
I think that one's pretty rough.
I mean, Hades doesn't die.
No, he doesn't. He's just kind of stuck there. That's why I didn't say that one. So that was the other one that getting dragged down pretty much. I forgot about that. That was it. But he's not dying. That's why I forgot. Because they're like, it's going to take him a while to get out of that. If he gets out of that. So. If. I can't do a Bobcat Goldthwait. So, sorry. Anything else you can think of? I'm sure there's more we forgot, but that was a lot of them. There was a lot of falling ones that I watched.
It's an easy write-off.
Yeah. Lots of falling. So.
Yeah. But yes, I think Mother Gothel's is the most horrific. Now, most traumatic, it's so hard to choose between like Mufasa, Ellie, Marlon's wife and kids, Hero's brother. Though Hero's brother was like straight up murdered.
Yeah, just for technology.
Yeah, I mean, so is Marlon's wife and kids, but at least that's part of like circle of life, you know?
Well, when you said that, I thought you were talking about technology. I was like, wait, what? Are they tech moguls? They're like, I need this technology in the water.
It's like, also straight up murder too.
I'm sure there's ones we're missing from like, was there some weird ones in Frozen that we missed? No. It was just the parents getting like their ship sinking. Yeah.
They did that to themselves. Tarzan's parents.
Oh, Tarzan had... Okay, no. I had to watch those. Those are bananas.
I remember...
So they kill the ape, like the gorilla's kid gets killed by the cheetah.
Yeah.
That was rough. And then, like, he has to watch, like, his father figure die. Mm-hmm. And then he kills the cheetah. And... that whole movie just seems like a depressing...
That I mean, we've watched it a couple times.
I've never watched it. I don't want to.
Yes, you have. We watched it at the beach when Olivia was little. And I remember we started... like, that movie just, like, started off, like, with his parents dying, you know? And then...
just like their baby getting killed, too.
Yeah. The gorilla mom taking... I can't remember her name.
Yeah, it was rough. Because I had to watch that just now, too. Like a few hours ago, I watched all these. Oh no, solid stuff, guys. If you can think of any, let us know.
I don't know. It might have to be Mufasa for the most traumatic.
Yeah. Anything else? Take us home then.
I don't think there's anything else.
Take us home.
All right. There's a great big pretty okay tomorrow.
And it's shining at the end of every day.
Unless you're some of these guys on this list.
Unless you're some of these chuckleheads.
Come on with us on a backlot tour.